Well, the owners call it Progress Park. But has there been any real progress made since the last truck rolled off the assembly line at the old GM plant in Moraine?
Well, for months now, Pam Elliott asked the owners that very question. She persisted, and tonight, first on 2, you get to see what is going on inside. Pam is live on assignment, opening the doors that so many of us pass by almost every day. Pam?
Well, Mark and Marcia and everyone out there, yes, security surrounds this site. In fact, we had to get special permission to be here this evening. What you see outside the fence line is pretty much what's going on right now. It's a junkyard, if you will, and scrap metal is being hauled off to the highest bidder. But we know what you're most curious about. It's what's going on inside those buildings. Well, there's now space for new business. We spoke with the owners. They say progress has been slow, but they are going to keep their promises. The old GM plant is part of the landscape we've come to know on our drives in and out of Moraine. We reflect on the traffic and the trucks once made here that kept thousands of people working. But when GM put the brakes on operations at the end of 2008, the jobs left town and the property appeared forgotten. Moraine struggled to find a buyer, someone interested in steering the plant into a new era. Hope accelerated a year ago, though, when a California-based company, Industrial Realty Group, known as IRG, took over. Stuart Lichter is the president.
You've done this as long as I've done it, and you've managed to be successful in just about every time you've tried. We're real optimistic that we will deliver.
Lichter is partners with Chris Semerjian from Cleveland. They're the managing members of IRG Moraine LLC. On April 30th, Semerjian came to town and opened the doors to the plant so we could take an exclusive look. What is it costing you to maintain, to secure, pay taxes, the whole shebang? What is it costing? It's almost been a year now.
Probably about $50,000 a month.
Thanks. First, he showed us where the announcement had been made a year ago, the most modern part of the plant.
Is this a normal day here?
It is now.
A Michigan company clears everything from the high ceiling to the ground, like a monster devouring its cash.
Basically, our whole focus for the last year has been to go in and selectively remove the metals and the old equipment in the facility to get it usable for the next user.
At the time of this tour, a final lease agreement was being worked out so that a Dayton manufacturer could move into this very space and retain jobs, not necessarily create them. So I asked him. So when we heard the announcement almost a year ago, it was 1,000, 2,000 jobs could be created as a result of what you're doing here. Are you sticking with that number?
Yeah, absolutely.
1,000 to 2,000 jobs in 3 to 5 years.
So we went in and clipped everything out.
This is how Semerjian likes the plant to look when his realty team shows prospective tenants. This 415,000 square feet of space is ready to go.
We think that having this being an open space and its proximity to the paint plant, which still has most of the equipment in place, is very attractive for a global manufacturer.
So piece by piece, parcel by parcel, people like Chris Semerjian and Dean Miller go after the right fit at the right price. They don't wait for people to call them. Already, there are companies paying to store items on site.
Our trucking company wants to store trailers, so potential rail use operation. So it's not just the building, this site also.
Are you storing for anybody right now?
I think there are companies that have leases, yeah. I think
we have a trucking company. We have 2 trucking companies, and we're working on a land lease right now with another company in the vehicle business also.
So, what is this property really worth? Well, we found out that's in dispute. Montgomery County thinks it's worth about $27 million. That was the last assessment last year. IRG Moraine says more like $4 million. So there's a huge gap, and what's the impact? Property taxes, of course. And who stands to lose if it's not valued very highly? 2 school districts, Kettering and West Carrollton. Now, this dispute will go before a board, we understand, this summer. We'll keep you posted on that and any development out here at the old GM site. Reporting live, 2 News on assignment, I'm Pam Elliott.
All right, Pam, with the latest on our next door neighbor.